Hello, 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 hello. One more hello to you out there in YouTube land. How are you, my beautiful people? How are you this blessed Friday afternoon? Yes, indeed, it is the end of the week. Yay! I mean, for you persons who work Monday to Friday, yeah? Yeah, I am standing in proxy for you. Yes, and I'm saying thank you. Yes, yes, yes. I know you are happy that it is Friday, right? TGIF. It is Friday, July 3rd, 2020. Yes, it is Friday. It is extensive. They say that there are more Jamaicans overseas than they are living here in Jamaica. Can you believe it? We have more Jamaicans overseas than actually living in the country, on the island. Indeed, indeed. And so they are tuning in from all over the world watching. Yes, and so I thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, I see my subscription is going up. Thank you for my new subscribers. Thank you very much. Continue to subscribe, guys. Remember that when the link, if and when the link falls, then I cannot send you a new link. So if you're not watching the program, right, and have not subscribed, then you won't know to come back on when I am back live, right? So subscribe, hit that notification bell that YouTube can give you notification when I'm on also, right? And remember to share the link, guys, with your friends and family, because knowledge is nothing if kept to oneself. Knowledge must be shared, it must be applied. And the same way I am sharing knowledge with you, because that's what I'm doing. I'm as a student of knowledge, guys. I am sharing what I know with you, my fellow students of knowledge, so that you can also make informed decisions. Absolutely. That's why I do what I do, right? So that you can make informed decisions with the information I give to you. I have information to give to you because so much is happening. And I know many of you don't even have the time, because I've been told to watch the news or listen to the news. And so you come here to get the news, right? And to get my 2 cents on it. Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. And of course, today is no exception. So I am lots of information to give to you. So I'm gonna make it snappy. No dilly dallying, as we'd say here in Jamaica, right? Absolutely, yes. And guys, I'm gonna remind you, and if I am on the air, and if you call me, you are going to interrupt my feed. Please, you should be watching my programs. If you're watching my program, you would know no, it's not a good time to be calling me, okay? Because when you do, you interrupt my feed, okay? Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Uh, Let me do this. Yeah, sorry about that, guys, because somebody's calling me while I'm on the air, which means that clearly the person is not watching my program, right? Guys, when you call when I'm on the air, it interrupts my feed. Please do not come. If you respect me any at all and respect what I do, then you do not call me when I'm on the air. Okay? Thank you very much. I love you. But you got to adhere, right? We need to learn to hear and adhere. All right, guys. So Jamaica now have 715 confirmed cases of the coronavirus disease COVID-19. And I'm going to tell you in our minute, guys, why we keep on saying confirmed, right? Or reported. Okay. So we have 715 confirmed cases of the coronavirus disease COVID-19. According to the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton. Dr. Tufton made that announcement during his usual COVID conversation press briefing that he had on Thursday that he does from his office in New Kingston. Absolutely. The 8 new cases are 4 males and 4 females. Ages ranged from 21 to 60 years of age. 2 are non-Jamaicans. They are visitors and they are accommodating in St. Anne. So they're presently staying in St. Anne, while the others have addresses in St. Anne, St. Catherine, and Kingston and St. Andrew. All 8 cases recently arrived in the island from the United States of America. Different flights from the US. And US is the hotspot, of course. Yeah. All right, so before I give my 2 cents, let me continue with the news for my big data people. So, as a result, we now have 200. Remember, I told you a few days ago, it's in the 200 mark. Yeah, we are now up to 200 imported cases of the COVID-19. In the meantime, we also have 5 recoveries. So now we're up to 560, the total number of persons who have recovered from the COVID-19. And remember how they calculate their recovery, guys. So they do what they do is that they give you a test, the COVID-19 test, right? And you do the test and it comes back negative, right? And then they give it to you again within a 48-hour period. So if it, within that 48-hour period, guys, you come back with 2 negative tests, then say you are fully recovered from the disease, right? So it means, guys, that for example, and I've seen and I've heard it said, right, and people might be wondering, so let me give us some more information on that. So let's just say, for example, you tested negative, right? But within 48 hours, when they did the test within that 48-hour period, so they tested today, right? So today's Friday, and let's say they tested you today, Friday, and you tested negative, but then they tested you again on Sunday, and when they tested you again on Sunday, you're tested positive. Yeah, that means you're going to have to stay in isolation, right? And then they're going to have to test you again, right? And then you have to get another 2 negative tests. So they test you again next week, Thursday, for instance, right? And you come back positive. So you're going to stay. Then they test you again on Sunday, for example, and you came back negative. Then they test you again on Tuesday, and you came back negative. Then at that point in time, within that 48-hour period, when you had those 2 negative tests, that's when they say that you are now COVID-19 free. Yeah. Okay, that's also debatable, guys, because we are hearing stories about the fact that there are persons who have tested negative, meaning that they had the 2 tests within the 48-hour period tested negative, went home, and then later on developed the symptoms of COVID-19. So it is called a novel coronavirus for a reason, novel meaning new, right? And as we have heard, and I have a story for you about the mutations, guys, because viruses mutate, you know that, right? Viruses mutate. That's why I do not take the flu shot. I do not take the flu shot. And I say it unapologetically, I'm not ever taking the flu shot because viruses mutate. And what they do, guys, when they give you the flu shot, the virus that they infect you, that it's basically it's supposed to prevent you from developing flu, right? But because the virus mutates, the flu virus mutates, so they give you a vaccine against this particular flu virus, but then it mutates into something else. And so now you still contract the flu. And I've seen it happen to many, many people. You understand? Many persons have taken the flu shots year after year after year, and they still get the flu because the virus is mutate. Yeah. And so I have that story for you concerning the mutation of the COVID-19 in a second. Let me just finish my numbers for my big data people. Yeah. So to date, they have sampled 25,229 persons, right? Of that number, as I said, 715 are positive with 24,457 negatives. We still have 57 pending samples. So I won't be on tomorrow, as you know, it's Saturday, but on Sunday when I come, I will have a 48-hour turnaround time period in terms of the results that I will give to you. So we will have some results tomorrow, but I would not be able to give it to you until Sunday. So it's Sunday, I'll be giving you both Saturday and Sunday as a report, two in one, right? Absolutely. Continuing with the big numbers, we have 136 active cases, and of the total of 715 cohort, 405 are females, 310 are males. We have 137 persons in isolation. Yeah. Which is interesting because they say they have 136 active cases. Guys, I don't know how they do their calculation sometimes, and when they give us the numbers, again, as I keep on saying, they throw numbers at us, and they don't really give us much explanation as to how they arrive at some of these figures that they're quoting, right? Because if it is that they have 136 active cases, then shouldn't they have 136 persons in isolation? And if it is that they have 137 persons in isolation, which means 137 persons in isolation, means that those are persons who have COVID-19, right? Then shouldn't the active cases be 137? That's the one person difference that I can't give account for. I don't know what is the story behind that one, that the difference in number by that one person. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, all the other numbers more or less stays the same, guys. Local transmission still 39 because everybody it's all imported cases now, and of course they are not testing locally, and they have admitted finally, guys. They have admitted, and I get to that in a second. So anyways, local transmission is 39, Alarico 236. 7 cases are under investigation. Still only 10 deaths, thank God. Yeah? And the number of persons who are in home quarantine has also gone down. Some people have their time has expired, and so they're no longer in home quarantine. So the number of persons in total in home quarantine at the moment totals 4,554. 4,554 persons are being geofenced or wearing bracelets. Yeah, and the the, the 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 Minister of Health wants the public to know that COVID a keep. The minister said COVID a keep. So for those people who think that COVID not keep, himself be telling us say COVID a keep. His words, guys, not mine. Yeah. Meanwhile, so we were watching the press briefing yesterday. The chief medical officer, Dr. Jacqueline Bisesa McKenzie. I love that woman, regardless of what, I love that woman, seriously. Yeah, I think sometimes there are certain things that are out of her control, and I do understand that. One, she's a woman, regardless of how educated she is, and two, she's answerable to persons who are in higher positions. Yeah, and so those things have to be taken into consideration sometimes. So I do understand and sympathize and empathize. Yes. Anyways, she was giving us some data yesterday, and also some encouragement and admonition, if you will. So based on what she said, I'm not going to give you everything that all of that she said. I'm just going to give you just enough that I think it will help you to make informed decisions, and also become more informed. Yeah. So she gave a rundown basically about the number of persons who entered into the island effective from June 1st to the 30th, right? So, the first 14 days were strictly for Jamaican residents, right? Or even non-Jamaican, but persons who were residing in Jamaica, right? And then from the 15th onward, it was opened up to foreigners and non-Jamaicans who live abroad but who were coming back to the island whether for a wedding, funeral, or to visit a relative, right? And also for tourists. I'm sorry, I said that already, but also for business travelers, right? Persons who do business with Jamaica from time to time, right? So she said of that, a total of over 12,000 persons entered the island for the month of June, guys. Over 12,000 persons, which worked out to approximately 410 persons per day. Basically, there were about five flights per day, she said, and 410 persons arrived in the island on a daily basis for the month of June. Right. She also said that the protocols that have been put in place for pre-testing of visitors for the high-risk locations, which presently according to WHO, the World Health Organization, the entire United States of America is considered high risk. However, according to the Ministry of Health and Wellness in Jamaica, the high-risk locations where it is mandatory to do pre-testing includes Arizona, Florida, New York, and Texas. However, she notes that those locations could change, meaning that there could be more added to the list because they are doing assessments, and according to them, the high-risk locations will change as needed. Yeah, and I would say at this point in time that if that in that case, then at this point in time that if that in that case, then shouldn't qualify California already be on the list since it is being changed as needed, and since you have made the announcement about these 4 iris locations, there has also been a spike in California, and California is just as New York, Florida, Arizona, and Texas. Yeah, so I was listening to see if they would have added California to the list yesterday, but they did not. But she said they would change as needed. So I guess at some point in time they get around to it. Yeah. Anyways, so she said all persons arriving in the island starting July 10th and onward, and we heard that from the minister, so we know that. But they must upload their PCR test results on the Jam COVID Jam COVID-19 website. She further, advised the public that testing is a one-off measure, right? So what's important is basically monitoring the 14-day possibly incubation period. So what she's saying that, for example, so you go and we do a test. It's a one-off measure, meaning that you can test negative, but by tomorrow you test positive. That's what she's saying. You understand? So therefore, it does not mean because you test positive, it means that you do not have COVID-19, what she's saying. Okay, just so you understand. She's not saying that because you have tested negative, it means you do not have COVID-19. So story come to bump, guys, and you're hearing the truth. You're hearing the facts, okay? I've been saying this to you guys all along. Now you're hearing out of the horse's mouth, right? So she is saying that you could test positive today and tomorrow you test positive for COVID-19 because, guys, there's a thing called an incubation period. You understand? So when you're in that incubation period, then that is basically when the symptoms will develop, right? And so when this symptoms develop, she is encouraging persons to contact the health ministry when you start to find yourself having fever. So you find yourself, you start to sneeze and cough and having running nose and having a high fever, this kind of stuff, then you contact the health ministry. That's what she's saying, right? She also acknowledges, right, that there could be persons who have had the disease or who presently have the disease and they do not know. And so it is not recorded. And we have already said, we know that it is not 715 persons in the island who have it. Haven't we said that, guys? Go watch my programs if it's the first time you're watching, and you would have heard me said it many times, that the number that they're quoting is incorrect, because I'm on the ground and I'm hearing and I'm seeing. So I know what they're saying and what is happening is two different things. And here it is now, she's admitting that if persons are at home and did not call in, they could be at home with the COVID-19. Hello? So she's, of course, encouraging persons to stay isolated, not to infect your family and friends, okay? And call the health ministry so that it can be recorded, because they really can't cure you because there's no cure, right? So really and truly, it's just a matter of record keeping and also to ensure that you stay quarantined or isolated so as not to infect the population so we don't have a community spread. Yeah? That's the idea. Yeah. Okay, guys. So I want to say something. I have to really give you my 2 cents while the story is going, on, because I'm keep on forgetting some of what I want to say. Oh, yeah, I was supposed to give you that. She did say in response to their study, which I'm going to read for you the article on that, about the study that was done by who did it again? The Scripps Research Institute, and according to them, they say that the virus mutates, right? However, what we already know, and they say it is mutating. It is still mutating, right? And some research scientists are actually even saying that it has mutated in the U.S. since it left China. So basically, the one that is in the US now is not the same one that was in China, or that is in China. That's how the virus has mutated. So, but she is saying, Dr. Mackenzie is saying that there is no evidence that the spike that is occurring now in the US is as a result of this mutation. And I think that is kind of a bit of ingenious on her part to say something like that, really, because yes, you do understand that, there she's also saying that, they did the test in the lab in a test tube, and so it has not been done on somebody, and no one has, is shown to have had it. But I'm saying clearly, you don't have to have that to say, that the spike in the US could be caused by a mutation, because clearly, if there's a surge, right? If there's a surge, clearly the virus has mutated. Clearly. So you don't have to have a proof of that. Common sense as a medical practitioner would say that. But I kind of understand, because scientists, if it's one of the reasons I usually have problems with some scientists when it comes to God, because if they can't see it, touch it, feel it, smell it, or taste it, it does not exist. So because they can't see God, some of them believe that there is no God. This is where we differ, right? And we'll agree to disagree. Okay, until you have your own experience. Thank you very much. But anyways, so just to give you a little bit of it, not much, but just, of course, I got to make you informed, right? So to give you a little bit. So the new coronavirus, it's called an RNA virus. So you have RNA viruses, guys, and you have DNA viruses, right? So like mumps, for example, is an RNA virus, and measles. Okay, so let me give you the story. So anyway, so the RNA virus is a collection of genetic material packed inside a protein shell. RNA viruses like the flu and measles are more prone to changes and mutations in comparison to the DNA viruses, which are DNA viruses are like herpes, smallpox, and smallpox and HPV. HPV, human papilloma virus, something papilloma virus. Yeah, HPV for short. Mm-hmm. As the new coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, it is basically itself, according to what they are saying, is a strain from the SARS-1. Yeah, so it is SARS-CoV-2. Coronavirus, COVID is coronavirus disease, by the way, makes its way around the world, and there's been an uptick in prediction that the virus will mutate into something deadlier and become an even scarier threat to humanity. You heard that right, yeah? And I would ascertain to say, guys, this is what is happening in the US. Welcome, cuz. Welcome. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for joining this live broadcast. Good to have you here. My cousin, guys, all the way from New York, and spreading the word in New York. Love you. Awesome. Yes, so to continue what I'm saying now, guys. So clearly, from this, you can use your own common sense, yeah, to say this is what is happening in the US, yeah. The virus has mutated into something deadlier and has definitely becoming as a more scary threat to humanity. So mutations, according to researchers in the trusted source publication of Nature Microbiology in late February, the word naturally conjures fears of unexpected and freakish changes. Ill-informed discussions of mutations thrive during virus outbreaks, they said, which, according to them, is what's happening here with the SARS-CoV-2, right? Every virus mutates, they note. It's part of the cycle, the virus life cycle. It is natural for viruses to mutate, guys. Thank you for my thumbs up. Thank you for my thumbs up. Is that Saloni or Dar? Yeah. In some cases, those mutations may actually lead to a weaker virus. So sometimes it leads to a weaker virus, sometimes it leads to a more deadly virus. Usually, though, the changes are so slight that there is no noticeable difference in the disease's transmission and fatality rates, usually. But there are exceptions to the case, because I keep on telling the guys that this particular virus is not normal. And I keep on telling you, and you see it clearly. Yes. Thank you. Keep those thumbs up coming. Thank you. So the new coronavirus is mutating. Research shows that it is mutating slowly, which is why there's a lag in that period of spike. Yeah, because it is mutating slowly. Once An RNA virus makes contact with a host. It starts to make new copies of itself that can go on to infect other cells. And that's why you find it is now affecting persons, their heart and their kidney and their liver, right? RNA viruses, like the flu and measles, are more prone to changes and mutations. In the world of RNA viruses, we expect viruses to change frequently. Dr. Mark Schleiss, a pediatric infectious disease specialist and investigator with the Institute for Molecular Virology at the University of Minnesota, said, according to him, the SARS-CoV-2 is no exception, and over the past few months, it has been mutating, he says. Dr. Schleiss from the University of Minnesota, he says, over the past few months, the virus has been mutating. And so, guys, that is why you're seeing what is happening. Common sense tell us that, yeah? Yes, the virus, he says, has mutated at a very slow pace. And when it does, new copies aren't far off from the original virus. So it has similar characteristics as the original, but it could be more deadly, yeah? According to Dr. John Rose, a senior research scientist in the Department of Pathology at Yale University, who is helping to develop a COVID-19 vaccine, the sequences of the original isolate from China are very close to those in viruses that are circulating in the US and the rest of the world. And so, the new study from the Scripps Research Institute in Florida, that's the one that Dr. Bisesa McKenzie referenced, right, suggests that the new coronavirus has mutated into a variant that's much more infectious than the original. It is called the D614G mutation. And more to come on this, guys. More to come. So I will stop there with regard to that story. More to come. But I hope I helped you to understand what we're dealing with to some extent, as much as they know. Right? Because it's a novel coronavirus, it's new. So, every day they are there doing their studies, they're learning more and more about this new virus, right? All right, guys. So to continue with the news. So the Jamaica Defense Force, the JDF, is reporting that a soldier is currently in critical condition after being wounded during a shootout last night with gunmen in the African Gardens community in Augustown, St. Andrew. It is reported that at about 9:45 p.m., a JDF team operating as part of ongoing operations in the community came upon a group of men at a premises on Bedward Crescent. The men reportedly immediately opened fire on the soldiers, leading to a firefight. Mommy said them body see? During the exchange, the JDF soldier was shot in the abdomen. He was rushed to the University Hospital of the West Indies, where he underwent emergency surgery. The soldier is currently in intensive care, awaiting further surgeries. A male from the Augustown community has since turned up at UA, that is UHWI, suffering from gunshot wounds to both legs. So clearly, it was a one-sided fight, yeah? Is presently being questioned by the police. The Augustown community has been plagued by gang violence and gang activity in recent times and has drawn the attention of the security forces. Numerous anti-gang operations and patrols have been conducted in the past weeks as the security forces target gangs and other criminals in the community. And we are praying for this soldier who is undergoing emergency surgery as we speak, and pray that he recovers because he's shot in his abdomen, which is very, very dangerous part of your body to be shot. And I'm wondering how about these vests that they're supposed to be wearing. But then again, you hear that even though they're wearing these vests, guys, some of these criminals, they have high-powered rifles that penetrate even the vest that the soldiers are wearing. So it's a dangerous job, guys, and we have to really pray for our law enforcement officers, right? Absolutely. And speaking of law enforcement, guys, I got to give you this one, this statement that was issued by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, right? So And this was issued today. So this is very, very current, guys. Out of the press. Yeah. So, according to a press release issued by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, 7 men suspected to be significant players in the illegal drug trade were arrested in a major security operation on Wednesday, July 1st, led by the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Division, CTOC. And this occurred in St. James. I remember I told you Wednesday morning, guys, hot, right? And you notice that, do you notice you have not seen it in the news, right? Nothing at all about it in the news. I'm going to let you form your own conclusion. But I told you Wednesday that there was a raid going on because there were roadblocks in the Westgate Hills community, right? And Catherine Mount. And so I told you soldiers and police were there doing a raid. Well, this is the official report that happened Wednesday morning, and nothing in the papers. This is the official report, press release that was issued by the Jamaica Constabulary Force. The operation, which commenced about 3 a.m. and lasted for over 11 hours, consisted of various sections of the Constabulary and the Jamaica Defence Force, the JDF. The law enforcement teams carried out operations in the communities of Ryan Park, Westgate Hills, Granville, Mount Salem, Catherine Mount, and Flanker. You see the web, guys. You see the vastness of that web of the drug trade. And we're talking about the cocaine that they've busted in the US, you know. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, okay. That's where it stems from. Okay, continue. Among the suspects detained are members of a major transnational drug trafficking syndicate, suspected to be behind the illegal export of large quantities of dangerous drugs to the US, United States, and elsewhere in North America, as also to Europe. Some of the men detained are believed to be connected to the 3 Jamaican police officers who were arrested in the US last week after they were held smuggling a quantity of cocaine. A large cache of electronic devices, cash in both foreign and local currency, with a value over $1.2 million, this is Jamaican dollars by the way, a BMW X6 motor car, as well as a licensed firearm, were seized during the ongoing operations. Yeah, guys, I tell you all the time, do not envy people for what they have. You do not know how they come with it. Yeah? Be satisfied with what you have, and in the fullness of time, the Lord will bless you and provide for you and give you what you want. Okay? But when you see people with their big houses and their big cars, do not envy them. You do not know how they acquire those means. Yeah? Okay. Not more to say on that. It's an ongoing investigation, as you heard, and I will have more for you. As I hear it, guys, you will get it out of the press. Yeah, and speaking of press, I gotta finally do this one. I gotta go to the front page of today's paper, the Gleaner. Yeah. So let me show it to you, guys. Let me show it to you. Let me show you. This is the front page of the Gleaner. Let's see the front page. You see what I say? Yes, guys. Big and bold. Cronyism claim. Lisa Anna dodges charges, but scolded for contract nepotism. We've been talking about nepotism all week, right? We're ending the week with nepotism. So hear this one now, guys. Lisa Anna, a legislator and spokesperson for the opposition People's National Party, PNP, election campaign, has escaped criminal charges but has been slammed for nepotism and cronyism in the award of millions of dollars in contracts in St. Anne in a ruling by the Director of Public Prosecutions, the DPP. Let me continue. Richard Lake, the husband of the St. Anne Southeastern Member of Parliament, might, however, be at risk of being charged. You know that's her second husband, right? Anyways, that's not the point. So let me continue the story. I'll get to that. The ruling has been with the Integrity Commission since July 2019, but has not been made public. And the DPP, that is Paula Llewellyn, said on Thursday, well, she confirmed on Thursday that, let me read it again, sorry. And the DPP, Paula Llewellyn, who on Thursday confirmed sending her opinion to the anti-corruption body, declined to comment on the matter. Okay, so Paula Llewellyn is mum on the subject. Her lips are sealed. However, the Gleaner has seen a copy of the state prosecutor's recommendations that were based on a referral from the Office of the Contractor General, the OCG. Remember, it is from the OCG that we now have the IC. We get to that. The OCG, which conducted an investigation into allegations of impropriety and corruption at Hannah's constituency office at the award of contracts by the St. Anne Municipal Corporation. The St. Anne Municipal Corporation again. In November 2017, then Contractor General Dirk Harrison asked the DPP to vice versa. It should be a situation wherein if you do wrongs and then people actually, call you out on it, it should not be a PNP versus a JLP thing. Huh? Both sides are corrupt, clearly. That's why we need other parties to come in the mix. We need competition. We only need competition for JPS and Flow and Digicel and Water Commission, We need competition for the parties too, you see, because both sides are corrupt. Okay, so here it is now that we are seeing wherein, similar to what is happening now with Petrojam, guys, where you see, I told you yesterday about the Integrated Commission and the investigation, the investigative division, and handing it over to the prosecutorial division, who now handed it over to the DPP. Now we're going to have that case tried. Well, it's a similar situation we're having now with Lisa Anna. At that time, it was the OCG, the Office of the Contractor General, right? And they were the ones who turned it over to the DPP. So having done that, now the DPP is making a ruling, you understand? So the same thing will happen with the Petrojam situation, yeah? Okay, so now, it is saying now here that in November 2017, then Contractor General Dirk Harrison asked the DPP to consider whether conflict of interest was involved in Anna's recommendation of contracts to 12 people linked to the PNP. The DPP was also to rule on whether Hannah, in her capacity as MP, right, willfully neglected to perform her duty and or willfully misconducted herself. The ruling said that the OCG's findings did not rise to the level of a criminal charge, noting that nepotism and cronyism were not offenses under the law here. More would be needed to mount a criminal prosecution, it said. So you see, unfortunately, it's a moral issue, not a legal issue. You see how things work, guys? You gotta see, you gotta study these things, and know how these things work. You understand? So what she has done, right? It breaks moral laws. It does not break legal laws, right? It's not against the law what she has done. But of course, it lacks integrity. Not true? What is integrity? Doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Yeah. So according to what the ruling has said here, the document said there was no allegation or evidence that Anna departed from established procurement procedures and that a prosecutor could not prove either willful misconduct or the abuse of public trust. It cannot be said that as a matter of law, the articulated justification is patently irrational, the document said, adding that breaches of procurement laws or policies were administrative ones and therefore outside of the DPP's remit, which means it would have gone back to the IC, being the IC now, right? Or back to the OCG at that time, the Office of the Contractor General, yeah? During an appearance before the OCG, Anna explained that she selected the contractors because, quote, they proved to be trustworthy, end quote. All right. So what I'm going to do now, on the same front page of the Gleaner, guys, this was another headline. You see that one? Yeah? Not as big and bold as Lisa's, but nevertheless on the front page of the Gleaner. And it says, Christie coming to Parliament. Now, before I read the story, I must say to you, Gleaner, seriously, I expect better from you. Yeah, it cannot be Christy coming to Parliament. Are you writing from Parliament? Are you a member of Parliament? It has to be Christy going to Parliament. Yeah, that's the more correct phrase. Okay, Gleaner Company, over 100 and odd years old. We expect better from you now. Anyways, let me not get into semantics and give it a story. So, days after the Integrity Commission, right? Because it just came into being in 2017, right? And they just had a bona fide head just since May 18th when they appointed Greg Christie, right, to be the head of the executive director of the IC, Integrity Commission. And of course, you see all hell breaking loose as a result of that, yeah? So, days after the Integrity Commission released two hard-hitting reports on its investigations into the scandals called Petrojam with some adverse findings, a parliamentary oversight committee has invited the agency's executive director, Greg Christie, to appear before them. The principal called the student to the office. The Carl Samuda chaired Integrity Commission Oversight Committee has asked the longtime anti-corruption campaigner to attend its inaugural sitting on Tuesday. So they're going to meet for the first time. In its annual report tabled in Parliament on Tuesday, the anti-corruption body asked lawmakers to amend Section 53.3, that is the so-called gag order clause, guys, that the so-called gag or Christie clause that imposes strong restrictions on the Commission to keep all matters under investigation secret until a report is tabled in Parliament. So that means no matter what you say to Mr. Christie on his Twitter account, and he's very vocal, and we talk on Twitter, and I tweet to him and he tweets back. But no matter what anyone say to him, he cannot say anything as it relates to an investigation. His lips are sealed and you will not get it out of him. I tell you what, I respect that man to the bone. Yes, so anyways, to continue. The Anti-Corruption Oversight Body has recommended that the Commission be court vested with the authority to comment on investigations as deemed necessary and appropriate. Right. And that is true because every time you ask a question, he cannot say anything. And there are things that he should be able to say. So this so-called Christie clause as a gag order has got to be removed. Agreed. So, the Commission also wants Section 51 of the Integrity Commission Act, which empowers the Director of Investigation to probe matters relating to government contracts and prescribed licenses, to be amended. It is being recommended that the law be changed to make it an offense in situations where the work of the Director of Investigation is being obstructed. Make it an offense if you block the man from his investigation. Further, in instances where a person fails to comply with the director's lawful requirement and where a person willfully makes a false statement to mislead, the Commission wants these actions to attract sanctions. So when you're being disingenuous and say that you were not asked if the person is your family member or not, and you only tell them about their professional status, we are going to sanction you. I mean, seriously, guys, common sense tell you, and it's just, really, if anybody who's ever applied for a job in an establishment, an established institution, right? On the application, there's always an option there. Do you know anyone working in this organization or any of our affiliates? Don't it? It's the reason they ask that question, guys. It's the reason. So how on earth can you think because they did not directly ask you, is she your family member? Yes, she is my sister-in-law. And common law relationships are recognized in Jamaica. Yes. Continuing, guys. Where am I? Other members of the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee are Peter Bunting, Delroy Chuck. Where have I heard that name before? Marlene Malahoo Fort, Marisa Dalrymple Filbert, Mark Golding, and Anthony Hilton. The committee's terms of reference include monitoring and reviewing the performance of the functions of the Commission, among others. Yes. Guys, I don't even think I need to give a 2 cents on that one. I think it's just self-explanatory, and I think I got everything out of it that you should have gotten. Right? It is an ongoing story, as you know, and as I know, you will know. All right, I will have more for you. But I want to make sure I give you all the news for today, guys. So I am going to move on with this next story. I just mentioned a name a while ago, right? Delroy Chuck. Yeah, yeah. Chuck. The Honorable Delroy Chuck. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck has backpedaled on his position on the 1 year limitation for lodging sexual harassment complaints in the workplace and other specified spaces as proposed in the anti-sexual harassment law that is now being reviewed by a parliamentary committee. And I was watching I was watching. You got to watch Parliament, guys. You got to watch Parliament. I was watching the meeting yesterday. It was live on YouTube, and I must tell you, guys. Minister Chuck, you're forgiven. You're forgiven. I forgive you. You're forgiven. Because, to be honest with you, yes, we all make mistakes. And the thing about it is that we know it is ingrained. It is ingrained in the Jamaican psyche, especially among men, in terms of taking certain things for granted. But in truth and in fact, he was one of the main person who brought this to the table, right, as a man. And he, up until that point of that chuckling, he was appeared to be very sincere in his desire to find solutions for women who have been sexually harassed. And yesterday at the meeting, I was watching his demeanor and I was listening to him carefully. And granted, he was under, and he knows that he's under surveillance, but that really and truly, that's why you have reality TV, because even though the camera is on you, after a while you forget about the camera, right? And you could see his demeanor and you could listen to what he was saying, and you could see the genuineness in his action in terms of really and truly being, sincere in his apology for what, that unfortunate chuckle, right? And statement, because it's not as though he doesn't really care about women and care about, the fact that sexual harassment is actually blatant in our society and needs to be addressed. So, the 12-month period for reporting sexual harassment and legacy from the original 2015 bill piloted by then Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller. So it was initially brought to the table by the former Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller in 2015. So unlike many other things that get swept under the carpet, this was one of those things that was actually moved forward in this administration when they came into power in 2016, right? And so when they came into power in 2016, right? And so so this is very commendable also for them. I must give them props for that, right? Yesterday, at another meeting of the Joint Select Committee, recommendations from various groups for changes to the 2019 Sexual Harassment Act, that's what it's being called, the 2019 Sexual Harassment Act. And actually, I heard a university professor who was present at that meeting stating that she would like to see an amendment made to say Anti-Sexual Harassment Act, not Sexual Harassment Act, but Anti-Sexual Harassment Act. And that makes sense, right? You're against, anti means against, you're against sexual harassment. So the act should actually be Anti-Sexual Harassment Act, not Sexual Harassment Act. Okay. So, as I was saying, Chuck argued that the proposed 1 year limitation for reporting is not cast in stone, but that there has to be some limit pointed to the current 7-year cap for civil matters. Quote, timely reporting is very useful. It is important that the accused individuals, if they are engaged in harassment, that they should be exposed at the earliest possible time so that they stop the harassment, and also that the victim has almost a duty to ensure that other victims are not harassed, so that the earlier that report is made, the better, he said. So he's explaining why he wants a shorter time, and it makes sense, right? Quote, if the report is not made early, I would urge the victim to preserve the evidence, because if the evidence is not preserved and a report is made at a later time and the alleged victim cannot properly persuade the tribunal that he or she was harassed, then he or she opened themselves to prosecution, because the alleged offender may well sue for defamation on the basis that it has been contrived, right? And that is true. This is what he said that I find very important, guys. That you've got to listen and learn. And even if I have to pick up tomorrow, I want you to get this part. Listen to what the minister says, and it's important for us, especially as women, to understand. And not only women, because not only women who get assault, we understand that, but predominantly we know it's women, yeah? In the meantime, the Justice Minister said he will be taking personal control of several pieces of legislation aimed at protecting against sexual violations. That means he'll be pushing for changes to the Sexual Offences Act, the Offences Against the Persons Act, the Child Protection Act, and the Domestic Violence Act amendment at the earliest possible time. From what I have gathered during the past week, it is obvious that these bills need serious amendment, he said, so that women and other victims of sexual violations can be properly protected. I intend to propose to Parliament that for many of these sexual offences, the penalty should be increased so that the clear and compelling signal can be sent to sexual offenders and violators in our society that any form of sexual molestation or violation will be severely punished, he said, stressing that the bills constitute criminal offences with no statute of limitation attached to, which is very good, yeah? The proposed sexual harassment bill is a civil liability statute that addresses sexual harassment. That's what we're talking about, because it happens, right? All right, so opening yesterday's session, Minister Olivia Babsy-Grange, right, stressed the importance, because she's the one who chairs the committee, by the way, so she stressed the importance of input from the society, pointing to public notices that have been issued and the subsequent compiling of a list of 23 entities whose contributions the committee felt would have been significant. We invited them to come and share their perspective on the proposal, she said. We sent out the invitations in December and again in February, but regrettably, we have not received contribution from 16 of the 23 entities to which we wrote. I did not see this, the notices, which means that they need to do a better job of advertising clearly. But if they sent out letters to 23 entities, guys, and 16 did not respond, which means only seven responded to a matter as important as this, seriously, then you really don't have much talking when things happen. And you're in the media talking, running off your mouth, when you had an opportunity to go before the select committee in Parliament to put in the 2 cents to get this thing done, and done swiftly and accurately for the benefit of women and everyone who is being harassed. Come on, guys. Wake up, wake up. It's what we're talking about here, guys. Wake up, man. Wake up. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Wake up. We don't sit on the veranda and talk in the kitchen, in the shower, right? You go where your voice can be heard, where it can actually have an impact and changes can be made. This is the opportunity. And I would invite the minister to also invite persons who have been directly impacted by sexual harassment. Have them also, invite them too, to come before the committee, share their experiences, and see how that can help you to make an informed decision when you are drafting and making amendments. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna pick up tomorrow. Not tomorrow, sorry. Sunday. I'm off tomorrow, right? I pick up on Sunday. And whatever I'm not giving it today, I will add it to what I will be giving you on Sunday and give it that. But I want to end the program today, guys. Unfortunately, I'm ending on a sad note. But I have to head on a sad note. Excuse me. Because you know that Ernest Smith, but no Ernest Smith. Right? I said it must be a dopey or a gunman. I man not find out yet. Remember that? When I was a child, I heard that song being played, and for years I didn't even know who it was until I found out it was Ernest Smith. And I think he had another popular festival song. Yeah. Where'd it go again? I forget this popular, but they had a very popular festival song that we used to dance as children growing up, yeah? That Ernest Smith, we love Ernest Smith. Well, guess what? He says, I am trying my best to make it through, you know? I have been warned by the people around me that I need to eat and take my tablets in order to stay alive at 75. Entertainment Insider described Janet Smith as the force behind the management of her husband's career for a number of years. This was a point Smith affirmed during the interview with the Jamaica Observer. Quote, she was such an important part of me and my career. Oh, yes, so integral. The couple has 6 children between them, whom Smith noted are all grown, but are also feeling the loss, as well as members of the immediate and extended family. No funeral arrangements have yet been made for Janet Smith, who had battled health complications a few years ago and sought treatment in Cuba and the US. Ernest Smith first tasted chart success Ernest Smith's first tasted chart success came in the late 60s and made a name for himself with songs including Bend Down, Ride on Sammy, One Dream, Duppy Our Gunman, and Pitter Patter. In 1972, he won the Yamaha Music Festival in Japan with Life is Just for Living, a song originally written for a Red Stripe a song originally written for a Red Stripe You for Jesus. Okay, that's Ernest we're talking about. And condolences to Ernest Smith, other family members and friends of the late Janet Smith. May her soul rest in peace. Amen and amen and amen. Yes, guys. And on that note, I am ending the program for today. Yes, I will pick up back tomorrow. Not I keep on saying tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. No, not tomorrow. You will not see me tomorrow. You'll see me on Sunday. Yes, at Sunday. At Sunday, I normally come on a Sunday at 1 o'clock. But I'm thinking of changing that, guys, to 12 o'clock. I'm thinking of coming on Sunday at 12 instead of 1 o'clock, just to keep the 12 o'clock time frame consistent, because I'm on at 12 during the week. It kind of confuses people to remember that Sunday is 1 o'clock. So I think I'm just going to stick to the 12 o'clock. Yeah. Let me know what you think. If you agree with me, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Send me a comment, or send me a comment and let me know that you agree with me that 12 o'clock is fine. I will continue to do 12 o'clock on Sunday instead of 1 o'clock. I come on at 12 on Sunday. Yeah, I did 1 o'clock because I wanted an extra hour of sleep. Yeah, but anyways, no, it's fine. I can do 12 o'clock on Sunday as I have been doing during the week, right? So yes, I think I am going to adjust it. So Sunday I'll be on Sunday at 12 at midday, right? Noon, right? Same thing, potatoes, and at that time I will give you the balance of story for today, whatever I hear for tomorrow into Sunday. And so Sunday, it's going to be a full packed 1 hour period. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you to all my family and friends. Okay, and even those who I don't know who received the link from a family member or a friend. Yes, continue to watch. Keep watching Omega Live with JJ One Without Borders, where you can expect to get the latest on what's happening in Jamaica and the Jamaican diaspora. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys. So I thank you so much for watching. Remember to go on my social media platforms, Omega News JA, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And you can go there and like, comment, and share. Remember to share this link, guys, with your friends and family, because knowledge is nothing, guys, if kept to yourself. Knowledge must be shared and it must be applied. So share the link with your friends and family. Also, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Omega News. Thank you so very much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Yes, darling. I will enjoy my day tomorrow. You do likewise. Absolutely. Thank you for watching and thank you for my thumbs up. Absolutely. Awesome. 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 That's my cousin in New York, Dora. Awesome. Awesome. Happy birthday to all the birthday people. Happy birthday. Tomorrow is July 4th. And you know, in America, US of A, and in the diaspora, they're celebrating Independence Day, or as they popularly call it, Happy 4th of July. So happy 4th of July when it comes, Dar. Happy 4th of July, Dad. Happy 4th of July, my best friend in New York. Happy, happy 4th of July to everyone who will be celebrating Independence Day in the US tomorrow and in the diaspora. I hope you enjoy the barbecue. And even though you have to practice physical distancing, kind of difficult when you're doing a barbecue, right? But anyways, I do hope you'll be able to practice physical distancing even as you enjoy. I know you can't be wearing masks to enjoy the spare ribs, right? Or the barbecue chicken. You're welcome, cuz. Absolutely, absolutely. But do enjoy your day tomorrow, the 4th of July. I know if I were in the States, I would have been watching all day Independence Day movies. My favorite, of course, being Independence Day with Will Smith. I just love that speech given by the US president. I think what's his name? Bill Pullman was the actor who acted as the president of US at the time. Wonderful speech. Love it. All right, guys. Thank you so much again for watching. I really appreciate you all. Remember to practice infection control measures by washing your hands and keeping the surfaces safe, keep it germ free to break the chain of infection. Okay, wear your mask to cover the portal of entry and the portal of exit. Okay, yes, we want to break this chain. We want to get rid of COVID-19. It's time for Corona to go. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. So until I see you on Sunday, this is JJ, Woman Without Borders. I'm always saying to you guys, remember to love on each other. Show love and compassion. Be tolerant of each other, right? God is love and love is God. We are children of God and yet created us to be there for each other. That's why he said, love your neighbor as yourself. So show love and compassion and compassionate discretion, right, to your fellow men. All right. Okay. So until I see you, this is JJ, Woman Without Borders, saying stay blessed and be a blessing. Mwah. Love you. Bye.